All right, welcome back to another episode of Ultra Morons. Here, your host as usual, Lane, and I'm joined by
Connor, once again.
I wouldn't say he's a guest anymore because we've done the last 4 episodes together.
Three. I think this is for one, two, two and a half, and then
Yes.
this would be our fourth.
All right. So yeah, we're getting there. So yes, you remember last time we talked about the word bearers, Monarchia, the whole thing, the guys with the eye of terror, blah 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 blah. We don't need to go over that all again. Watch the last episode if you want to know more. If I got anything wrong, you can correct me in the comments because sometimes it's good to know the right information, especially with 40K. It's impossible to really know what's. Oh, really? Just changed that in some comic they released last week. It's like, oh, of course, right? The comic. That's kind of what they did with like Five Nights at Freddy's lore.
Oh,
Was like, you didn't read the coloring book? It was in the coloring book. It's like, of course, the coloring book. And it's yeah, but good thing Markiplier's there to wrap it all up for us. But anyways, so we did the episode because we left on a cliffhanger with Horus going into the Delphos temple to have that ayahuasca trip, see the visions of basically him dying and the emperor becoming a god, and Erebus appeared as Sejanus. Horus knew it wasn't Sejanus because of he was like, your Sejanus is dead, so it can't be you. And he's like, yeah, right, it's me, Erebus. And then Magnus tried to show up and say, no, don't trust him. He's lying. And then he's like, let me think about it. And then he walks out of the temple, all healed up, big smile on his face, and talks to Garviel, and that's where we leave off. And we're going to pick up from there in this episode. So we don't really necessarily know the choice he made yet, but we figure out pretty quick because once he gets back on the Vengeful Spirit, which is his flagship, he wants his guy Malogurst to make a list of names of people who are loyal to him or people who are more loyal to the Emperor. Basically, that is a list of people to get rid of, to kill, right? So we can tell at this point, okay, Horus obviously did not listen to Magnus. He listened to Erebus, which why would you ever do that? But whatever. So Malagurst gets the list ready. It's hundreds of names across multiple legions. Basically, like I said, anybody who's more loyal to the Emperor versus Horus. And some of those people are like Yakton Cruz, which I think we've talked about a couple times. He is a captain of the Sons of Horus, and he's so old that like he is from I think Terra, like originally. Like he's part of like the original Terran like Space Marines. Like when the Emperor made them all on Terra before he like did the Unification War. I might be wrong on that, but I think he's pretty close to being that old. But most people ignore him because he's an old guy and they call him the half herd because they're like, what are you talking about? So like, don't worry about it. He's just being old and rambling. So he's on that list because Yakton Cruz is loyal to the Emperor 100%. But anyways, another guy that's also loyal to the Emperor is a regular human named Ignis Carcassy. And Carcassy is Remembrancer. It's such a hard word for me to say for some reason. Remembrancer, which is a propagandist, means he's taking a good look at something, right? He is a poet and a drunk. Likes drinking a lot, but even though he likes drinking a lot, he likes telling the truth too. And he likes to take a bunch of notes. And one of the notes he took was when Horus was stabbed with the anathame on Davin's moon, they brought him to get healed. His Space Marines did, and they ran over a bunch of humans to do it and killed them. And Carcassy was like, that's not okay. You can't just kill us. What are you like? So the Emperor needs to know about this. And he's also starting to notice things around the ship are looking a little weirder. And he tells Mercedes Allerton. And I have the picture of Mercedes Allerton. You've seen her before. She had a big old head full of like a machine that makes her remember better, basically. And she believes him because she's also seen some weird stuff too. But before Carcassy can get the ball rolling and like compile his notes to go, at least do the Edward Snowden, right? Blow up the CIA. Magard, who originally was Petronella Vivar's bodyguard, who I don't know if we talked about her too much, but she is one of Horus's like personal remembrancers. I'm telling you, that word is killing me. So she was always around him, but she was weird in a way of she was from like a rich family, like of nobles. And Magard was her bodyguard, but in a way of almost like I want to say concubine, but like I don't think that's the right word, but like basically that. Like he's a mute, so he can't talk at all. I think he has like his surgery to turn off his vocal cords, and he's this big, juiced up, bodybuilder looking guy that's your bodyguard. But she also uses him for other things. But she's not a good person,
Right.
And her family aren't good people. But Horus doesn't really care because they have servitors, and servitors are lobotomized people that just do service work. Pretty brutal stuff.
Right.
But
Sorry, real quick. Are remembrancers kind of assigned to a specific legion, or are they just kind of for all of?
yes, they can get assigned or moved around. It's usually kind of like, yeah, you guys are going with these guys. Yeah, usually it's depending. They kind of just tell you where to go. It's like a war journalist, right? You're going in Iraq today. You're going to chronicle that, or you're going to Syria and going to chronicle it, right?
Right.
So
they're not loyal to a specific legion.
no, I mean, some maybe just because
They've been around for so long.
exactly kind of just have like a familiarity with them and kind of a companionship. But all of them at the end of the day are loyal to the Emperor and the Imperium because I mean, how can you not be, right?
Right. Okay.
So anyways, yeah, so Magard corners Carcassini's room, and Carcassine is like, what are you doing? Like, get out of my way. I got to go release his paperwork. And Magard's just standing there looking at him. He's like, come on, you baked up idiot, get out of my way. And then he basically picks him up, grabs him, and blows his brains out. And that's the end of Carcassine. And it's like, oh, man, it's a really depressing scene in the book, but it's like, man, you killed Snowden. So and they take his writings and they burn all the writings. So nobody can know about that. And yeah, so I'll ask you, Malgar, I mean, they could have just taken Carcasse's writings and just burned them or whatever, or like he's thrown in prison, but instead they decided to just kill him outright. How do you think that's going to go for? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, you think that's kind of jumping the gun a little bit?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's jumping the gun. I think it makes sense for what they're trying to do, right? Just get rid of all the doubters. I guess it kind of answers the question that me and maybe some other people had, where it's like, okay, like, yeah, he's Horus, like, is sided kind of with Erebus in this, or listen to Erebus, but like, is it like a gradual change, or is this just like, okay, I'm gonna go kill like everybody tomorrow? It seems like he's just like, I'm gonna kill everybody,
Right.
like today.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just gonna do it.
day one. Yeah, massacre. And another thing too I forgot to cover is so the reason also why Magard is so loyal to Horus is because Magard hated Vivar because she, used him and like was basically he was basically a slave to whatever she wanted. So Horus basically just is like talking to Vivar after he gets back on the ship, and this is before Magard kills Carcasses. This is before. Like he's talking to the ship, or whatever, and she was like, "Oh, we were also worried about you. You like we thought you were dead or whatever." He's like, "No, I'm fine." He basically grabs her, and she's like, "What are you doing?" He just flicks his thumb up and snaps her neck. Just kills her outright. And then he's like, "All right, go get Magard. I want to like show him, and then he can like be cool and part of the club now." And they basically put him in one of the lodges with Horus and all them. And he's like, "Yeah, you're one of us, but like you're still not a space marine, but like we can get you some surgeries and figure all that out." He still can't talk though, but
right. Okay.
so he's basically an enforcer for them.
Gotcha.
So to kind of give you why Magard was so ready to kill Carcassy, that's why.
Right. Okay.
So we're gonna jump away from Horus right now. We're gonna go to Fulgrim. So running parallel to that, Fulgrim and the Emperor's children are fighting a compliance war on Tarsus. And compliance just means trying to bring the people on the planet into the Imperium by any means necessary. But there's an Eldar named Eldrad Uthran, which, do I have a picture of him? Yes, this guy. He is an Eldar Farseer. And Farseers are just people that can see in the future, kind of. Not like perfectly clearly, but they kind of get visions and can see where things might go depending on what happens.
Okay.
Just people that you would never want to play chess against. And also a similar thing that the Emperor can do as well. And so can Malgador. But it's not like they see like perfect vision. They just see like, if you choose to do this, I see in your future like a lot of dying, stuff like that. It's like tarot card readings in a way.
Okay.
So he makes contact with Fulgrim, which is weird because usually Eldar do not like humans. They see them as lesser species that all they want to do is fight and kill all day. Which, to be fair, they're not wrong, right? Especially where we're at right now in the timeline. But he says, I think this is a good idea. So he makes contact and he says, I want to speak with Fulgrim. And Fulgrim and all of his Emperor's children go there and they say, what's up? What's our boat? And Oldred is like, your war master is corrupted. I've seen a disturbance in time, space, and something bad is going to happen with Horus. He's going to try to kill the Emperor. And if that happens, it will destroy everything that you care about. And Fulgrim is like, that's so crazy you're saying that because I don't believe you. Like, what if like you're talking about my War Master killing my dad. He's like, I ought to kill you right now for even saying that. But he's like, why would I lie to you? What would I possibly gain from lying to you? Like the Eldar. He's like, I don't care about you guys at all. Like, I mean, I do, but I'm just letting you know this because it will make everything easier in the future if you stop Horus. And Fulgrim says, yeah, whatever. But what Eldrad notices is that Fulgrim takes out this Laer blade. And the blade has been has a demon inside it, which I think we talked about before. And that demon has been kind of whispering in Fulgrim's ears about little things like that. Remember one of the first episodes we talked about? It basically, I think he's talking to Horus, and it says to him, like, oh, don't trust him, he's just a sycophant. And Fulgrim has no, like, who said that? What was that? That's the blade kind of saying, like, getting him kind of on edge. Pun intended. And also juicing up his pride, being like, Fulgrim, you're the coolest Primarch, actually. Nobody else is close to you, right? So just really building into that ego. So he takes out this blade, and Eldrad is like, notices the blade right away. He notices the Slaanesh blade, and he says, "Oh, it's too late. You guys have already lost too." And they have a whole battle, and Eldrad escapes through like a portal. And this picture here is basically that fight with Fulgrim and the Eldar. Eldar are good, but they're not as good as a Primarch. So he's killing them, kills a bunch of them. That thing he's standing on is a I forgot what they're called, but they're basically, you know what an Imperial Knight is, right? It's a big mech robots that they use.
Yeah.
So it's basically the Eldar's version of that. And he first starts off by killing that and killing a bunch of Eldar, but the Eldar summon what they call an avatar of Khaine. And Khaine is one of the Eldar's gods of like war. And Fulgrim, and it doesn't really make sense. Fulgrim's fighting this avatar of Khaine, and it's like its blood is magma, and its like skin is like molten metal. So he's fighting it, and it's like so hot, it's like burning marks, like burning his, like, you see his little papers he has on his armor and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like burning all the paint away, all the papers away. Like it's that hot.
Okay.
But Fulgrim can withstand it because he's a Primarch.
Right.
But how he beats him is he basically he knocks him over and he starts choking him to death. And you're like, how did you just choke a thing made of lava and metal to death?
Right.
Don't worry about it. He does it somehow and he kills it.
Right.
And the Laer Blade's like, dude, you're so awesome. I can't believe you kills Eldar. Because Slaanesh loves killing Eldar because it feeds the souls into her domain.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you destroy these little red, I don't know if you can see the picture, but these little red like gems, those are called soul stones. And some things have a lot of them, some things don't have many. And it's basically literally a soul stone where an Eldar soul is contained in it, and he uses that to power the device. It's a whole thing maybe we'll get into one day with the Eldar, but it's basically how they keep themselves out of Slaanesh's grasp when they die. They put their soul into a soul stone. Think of it like a phylactery with a lich.
Yeah.
So, yes. Anyways, that happens. He kills these Eldar. Then he says, well, that was a waste of time. Anyways, but Eldrad basically says, I will never trust humans again. That was such a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like one of my, like, a lot of my, because also Eldar hate risking their own lives because not many of them left. Especially after Slaanesh before, like billions, if not trillions of them died. So anytime one of them dies, to go back to Invincible again, it's like with Thrag, right? He's like, there's only 40 of us left. So it's like that, right? Where it's like any one of us dying is a huge loss. Now, obviously, they have the Soul Stones, but if you break a Soul Stone, that's all right to Slaanesh right away. She's got it. So and also, so Fulgrim starts breaking some of the Soul Stones there too. So that makes Eldrad hate him even more because it's like you're just being cruel now. Like, you didn't need to do that, but he did anyways.
Right.
So that happens, and Fulgrim also ends up going to meet with Ferrus Manus, and Ferrus Manus is his closest friend and also his brother. Like, they both made, so I don't know if it's in this picture, I think so, that other sword he's carrying, that's not the Laer blade, is called Firebrand, and it's a sword made for him by Ferrus. Because a long time ago, hundreds of years ago, Fulgrim and Ferrus Manus did a competition to see who can make the better weapon. Fulgrim made a hammer for Ferrus, and Ferrus made a sword for Fulgrim. And when it was all said and done, and they looked at each other's weapons, they were like, it's a tie. Like, they're both too good. So they're very close to each other. They're big fans of each other.
Right.
So he goes to Ferrus and basically tells him, hey, you should probably, like, Fulgrim also talks with Horus at a certain point too and figures out that Horus is betraying the Emperor. And Fulgrim, I mean, it's a big deal for Fulgrim. Believe it or not, it actually makes him he really has, like, reckon with it. But he does, and Horus goes tell him, hey, go tell Ferrus Manus as well. And he says, I can handle that easily. I can definitely get Ferrus Manus on our side. No problem. You need to join Horus. Horus is going against the Emperor. And Ferrus says, that is the greatest thing I've ever heard. What are you talking about? He says, no, I'm serious. This is what's happening, and you need to be a part of it. And he says, I should kill you right now for just saying that. He's like, yeah, you're not going to do that, though. He's, you don't think I will? And then they start fighting. It's a whole thing. Some of Fulgrim's special guys, I forget what they're called, Phoenix Warriors or something like that. They're basically Terminators, which are just big plated guys. We'll go into that a little later with Space Marines, but they kill a bunch of Iron Hands guys as well. I can't remember they're specialists as well. They're special guys as well. I can't remember what they're called either for some reason. But yeah. So while the Fulgrim are killing them, him and Ferrus are fighting. And it gets to a point where he's almost about to kill Ferrus. But Ferrus reaches out with his metal hands and grabs Fireblade and basically explodes with his metal arms. And it explodes, and symbolic, right? Basically, and that's the last time they basically see each other as whatever. So that explosion basically knocks out Ferrus, and Fulgrim is like, I could kill you here, but I won't because I'm just not that type of guy right now. But he's like, I hope you change your mind. So he leaves. But so yeah, I'll ask you there. Think about Ferrus, man, as being so just like, no way. Like, I'll kill you before I go against the Emperor.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. It's interesting that Fulgrim, obviously he has like the Laer blade kind of whispering in his ear and stuff. I think that shows kind of the point at which how much it's been doing that, especially with the Eldar as well, kind of hinting. But I mean, I'm not surprised he said no. I guess I would assume that would probably be the best chance that they would get for Ferrus to join the
and that's why Horus told Fulgrim, like, if anybody can get Ferrus to join us, it has to be you.
Right.
But it fails because Ferrus is just too much of a good guy. Right. Quote unquote good guy.
Yeah. And I guess I'm wondering, I know we've kind of talked about this before, like the Space Marines kind of in general seem like a pretty trusting group, at least.
Yeah, because they're kind of like genetically made to trust people. Mm-hmm. Oh, not people. Trust
the kind of Emperor.
The Emperor, the Primarchs, the system, right? So and that's why it's so easy for Horus to get his guys loyal to him, because like they're already basically designed that way. So it's not that tricky.
Right. So I guess from what I understand, if the Primarch goes with it, then the Legion goes with it.
Not entirely. So they're definitely, and you'll see later on, some are split down the middle in some ways. Like some like, no, Horus has a great idea. We should do what he's doing. But then others are like, no, like the Emperor knows best, right? So definitely some break away from that conditioning, but it takes some convincing. Right. But most of the time, yeah, if your Primarch's going and you love your Primarch, you're probably going to go. But yeah, it's not like the Space Marines are machines, like programmed to love or love the Primarch or go crazy, but it's more of like you really have to work to break that trust.
Right. Gotcha.
So, yeah. So, another guy we're going to talk about is Saul Tarvitz, and I think I have a picture of him right there. He is Emperor's Children. I don't know why he has a plate on his head. I'm sure it's referred to somewhere, but I don't know why. He probably just hit his head real hard and said, here you go, get a cool plate. So Saul Tarvitz is an Emperor's Children guy, and he is a loyalist, actually. He does not like Horus's idea. So, like you just asked, some of them don't go for Horus's thing. So, him and some other people are told to go to István III. And now István III is already a human-populated city. Humans already live there, but he's told it's a compliance action. These humans are getting out of whack, and we need to put them down. Basically, that's how Horus dresses up the betrayal that's incoming, is that he tells a bunch of different Space Marine groups, we need help with István III. These humans are way too strong, right? Which is kind of weird. You're like, the War Master, you should be able to handle this, but whatever. You need my help.
Right.
So there's a city called the Choral City, and it's called that because it's like very musical, and they have these things called they're psychers that can like sing like dead with like they can like kill you with their voices. It's kind of like Sindel from Mortal Kombat, right? Something like that.
Okay. Thing like a Skyrim shout, but yeah.
Similar, yeah. It's basically they have these psychic powers with their voices.
Yeah.
So the Primarchs send these bunch of everybody on the ground, basically, even the ones who are traitors and loyalists. Well, ones who are loyalists to Horus's guys and Emperor guys, because we'll get to it. So Saul Tarvitz, captain of the Emperor's Children, is aboard one of the warships when he basically asks one of the Mechanicus people on deck what's going on. what are we like? What are we loading on this ship here? And the king says, oh, they're loaded with air-bursting warheads containing virus bombs. And says bombs are already loaded, and the order to fire is minutes away. Tarvis goes, huh? What do you, huh? He says, yeah, Horus wanted virus bombs to be dropped on the planet. Because the mechanic is just doing his job. He's a robot, right? He's not going to he's not trying to hide anything. He doesn't care, right?
Right.
And Saul goes, hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, wait a minute. Whoa. Like, that's way too much. Like, we kind of jumped ahead, but they eventually take over the city, whatever. But they're like, yeah, we're going to drop the virus bombs to make sure the whole, everything is taken care of. It's like, that's way too much. That's like dropping a nuclear bomb after you already won, right? Especially in the entire plane. It's like, what's going on? He takes a Thunderhawk, which is basically a troop carrier jet thing, and he goes in through, reaches the surface, and is trying to warn people on the ground about what's about to happen. So basically, virus bombs are so bad that there's a quote from the book here that says, virus bombs, weapons so terrible and forbidden that only the War Master himself and the Emperor before him could ever sanction their use. So these things are real nasty.
Right.
Real nasty. And it's interesting about this part is that Tarvitz is the only person who sees something bad at them and actually does something about it, which kind of goes to show you the type of guy he is. He's like, look, we can't just wait around and wait for this to go away. Obviously, Carcassy tried to as well, but he's just a regular human.
Right.
So the Life Eater virus, basically, I can explain a little bit more, is a bomb, not really a bomb, it's a gas. It's a biological weapon that consumes organic matter at the cellular level entirely. Everything biological. So plants, bacteria, obviously, living things, meat, stuff like that. But everything organic is getting eaten up. And another problem would also it just basically eats it up and turns it into like a gas. Eventually the gas just dissipates over time, but you don't want to breathe it in. It's real rotten stuff. And so if you hit a world with it with enough Life Eater virus, it is going to turn to a big rock and turn to a moon, right? Yeah. A desert. So Tarvitz knows this because everybody knows about Life Eater virus, right? Because it's just like, it's one of those things like everyone does with a nuclear bomb because they're bad. So he reaches the surface and he can warn some loyalists. He's like, you need to find cover, like something bad's about to happen. Go in under anything sealed, underground bunkers, chambers, not houses, but like anything they can seal. And then as he does this, the bombardment begins. All these bombs dropping down, and it is complete coverage. Most of them are centered on the Coral City because that is where the highest concentration of people still are. While that's happening, now it's a slow coverage. It's not like it's like instantly the whole planet's gone. Right. It takes time for it to chew through everything.
Okay.
The survivors of the bombing, they hide inside and they wait till everything gets kind of chewed up, and eventually they come out in time and they go, okay, it looks good. There's no more death here. But well, actually, so to go back a little bit. So once he does it, all his gas in the atmosphere. That's not enough, right? So then Horus orders an orbital bombardment onto the planet and basically throws a match into a big tank of gas. So then a firestorm just covers the entire planet, cooks up everything that was still alive on the surface somehow. Now, even that didn't totally work because people in these bunkers, these super bunkers, and they come out after this goes on, and they come out and they see everything is just ashes. And they kind of sit there and wait because, like, well, I guess we'll wait to see what happens next because I don't know what's going on. So Tarvitz, Loken, and other surviving loyalists establish a perimeter in the ruins. And they know, Tarvitz basically let them know, hey, Horus is trying to kill us. And so they dig in, and they know that nobody's going to come to rescue them because they're basically be left here to die. So their two options are either fight or die. And they're Space Marines, so of course they fight. I mean, they might die later on, but right now they're going to fight. So Tarek Torgaddon, here's a picture of Torgaddon. That picture doesn't do him justice. He's actually a nice guy. And little Horus Aximand, I don't know if I have a picture of Horus Aximand, but they call him little Horus Aximand because he looks just like Horus, but smaller. Oh, also here's a picture of Yakton Cruz. You see, he's kind of old looking. He kind of looks like Jonathan Banks from Breaking Bad, Mike. Yeah. No, I don't have a little Horus Aximand. But yeah, so they were two of the four Mournable people, and they're some of the most trusted. And they get, which is funny because Torgaddon really doesn't like this, but they think Torgaddon's cool. They're like, no, he's definitely on our side. He's definitely on Horus' side.
Okay. So I know they're not telling, like, Loken's on the surface, right?
Yes.
They kind of know he's out, but they don't know about
Torgaddon.
Torgaddon. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
He's on the surface too, but they thought he was going to like be bad.
Okay.
Now, they might have been split, honestly. I'd have to look at the book again, but I think Torgaddon was like, he might be a maybe. Loken was obviously no. Little Horus and Abaddon were like, oh, we know these guys are totally on Horus' side.
Right.
I mean, one of them is called Little Horus, so he has to be. Let's go back a little bit. Before the descent to the planet, in a conversation with Loken on the Vengeful Spirit, Torgaddon had already told his brother why he left. His brother, as in Loken. Loken told him, yeah, the Carcassy had been killed. Because everybody knows Carcassy, right? Because everybody knows how he is. Torgaddon said, they called it the suicide. But he's like, no, they murdered him. And then that's when he was like, oh, this is getting out of hand now. So that was when he could realize, that's when he kind of got to a point where he's like, this is not, I can't be a part of this anymore.
Right.
So that's when he broke with the Lodge. Basically, he's like, I no longer trust Horus to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
So on the surface, Torgaddon and Aximand meet in the ruins of the Coral City Parliament building. It's this really big domed city building. And they kind of talk to each other. And Torgaddon tells Aximand, you're on the wrong side. It's like, you can end your life as a space marine rather than a slave. Basically tells him straight up, it's like what is it from BioShock? A man chooses, a slave obeys, right?
Mm-hmm.
He hits him with that one. And Aximand says, you're wrong. And they start fighting. And then, but unfortunately, Torgaddon's not the best fighter. So he gets beaten, he's down on his knees, and he's about to die. And Aximand stands over with the sword and says, I'm sorry. And then that's it. Kills Torgaddon. And Loken sees it as he arrives in the building. And he says, and he basically tells Aximand, don't kill him. And he's like, it's too late, I already did. Loken basically goes to fight. But before we get to that, Horus then tells, up on the ship, tells the other legions to descend and finish what the virus bomb started. So Angron is there. And Angron is, do I have a picture of him? I guess I don't. I have a picture of Angron. But you know Angron. This is a kind of picture of István III, kind of the traitors and fighting each other and the good guys. The blue are the world eaters. They used to be blue. Okay. So Angron drops down like a missile, right? And he lands there, and the butcher's nails are getting him juiced up, ready to go. So he starts flying in, just killing, because that's all he's good at. He actually doesn't like what Horus was doing. He said, if we're going to betray them, we should just go on the ground and fight them face to face. And Horus says, you're an idiot. That's not going to work. So we got blown up from orbit. And Angron says, I can't believe it. You guys are so dishonorable. And it's like, are we? Why don't you do something about it then, Angron? Angron's like, whatever. It's stupid anyways. But Angron he's a very classical warrior. He's going to kill somebody, he wants to see their face when they do it. What he does, he doesn't stab people in the back. But Horus says, I don't care what you think. Like, this is, trust me, I've thought about it. This is the best way to do it. So Angron's fine, whatever. So he drops in there, and they're cleaning up, just murdering the rest of the loyalists that are still down there. There's a Captain Erlin that's down there. He gets killed, and it's a whole mess. So I'll wrap that part by asking you, how do you feel about Torgaddon basically telling Aximand, hey, either you join us or you're a slave?
Torgaddon, so that too.
Aximand. Horus, little Horus.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the other way around.
No, yeah. So hold on, let me read my line here again. Yeah, so Torgaddon tells Aximand that he thinks he's on the wrong side. He says he has a chance to end his life as a space marine or fight as a slave.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is...
Because, like, I mean, is he wrong?
Right. But then also, like, you're, like, so outnumbered. And, like, you just got, like, virus.
No, I mean,
but...
yeah, those guys, most of them are like, yeah, we know we're going to die down here.
Right, yeah. We'll see, right? Like,
that's true.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on from there to Nathaniel Garro. And I have a picture of Garro here. Garro is, there he is. He is a Death Guard. And Death Guard are Mortarian's guys. And Mortarian is on the side of Horus. He doesn't like the Emperor because some of the stuff that happened a long time ago when he was a kid and blah, blah, blah. We don't need to get into it. But he joins Horus, and the Death Guard do as well, most of them. But Garro is not like that. He's kind of like the Loken of the Death Guard.
Okay.
But he is more faithful than Loken is, which is kind of weird. But he like trusts in the Imperium to do the right thing, which is kind of weird if you really think about it. Because like, do they ever really though?
Right.
But he believes that the Imperium is worth defending. Like Horus is doing like what Horus is trying to do is so beyond like it's just evil, right? Which I can show you here the picture called Evil Horus. So yeah, Garro's like against that, right? So Garro is trying to understand what's happening on when the virus bombs go off. And he has this rival called Grulgor. And Grulgor is another Space Marine. I don't have a picture of him. I mean, I have that, but we'll get to that. So Grulgor is kind of his rival in a way. It's a good rivalry though. They're gonna like, oh, I got to him first. Oh, he's only a little faster, stuff like that, right? But eventually, Garro is on the Eisenstein, which is a ship, and he notices they're loading the main gun with this Life Eater virus. And Typhon, who is another captain of the Death Guard, tells Grulgor, he gives him a sign that you're ready to drop the bombs, right?
Yeah.
And Caleb Aaron, who is this guy, I don't know if he normally looks like that or just like a whatever, but Caleb Aaron is Garro's house Carl, I think it's what it's called. It's like a servant, not like a slave, because he doesn't treat him poorly. I mean, it's basically a slave, really. I mean, let's not dance around it, but it's more. So it's a whole long story. I'll get into some of it. So basically, in a Death Guard, to become a Death Guard, like most Space Marine chapters, you have to go through a bunch of different tests, like any Space Marine. But some of those tests are get different the farther you are along, depending on what thing you're a part of. Dark Angels have to do like a thing that they go in the woods and like hunt a beast or something like that, or like Blood Angels have to like drink the blood of like a Sanguinius or something crazy like that, and like sleep in a coffin for a month or so. It's a whole. They have all these weird different things they do.
Right.
So in the Death Guard, one of the things you have to basically get go into like a poison chamber and survive these different poisons and these different toxins and different not viruses, but like basically just go through this super lethal concoction of poisons and gases. CPU test yourself.
Okay.
And people who can't or give up become housecarls. So Caleb Aaron was supposed to be a Space Marine, but he failed because he couldn't pass the test. He said he dropped out. He said, I can't do it anymore. So he becomes a housecarl instead. So for him, it's still because usually those kill you. If you fail, then you're either you're dead because of the poisons, or they're going to kill you because like you came too far and we can't let you like leave with that.
Right.
But in the Death Guard, they turn you into a housecarl. So it's like you're still serving your chapter in a different way, or your legion in a different way. So
yeah,
that's probably why he looks like that, just because of the poisons. Probably just did such a number on him. Yeah. Anyways, so Caleb Aaron discovers what Grulgor is doing and tells Garro they're about to put the bombs in the plane. It's gonna be so bad. And Grulgor basically knows that Caleb Aaron knows because he's a Space Marine. He can hear things going on, right? So Garro goes to confront Grulgor in this chamber with all these globes of Life Eater virus, and he says, "What are you about to do?" And he basically tells like, "This is what I'm gonna do, and you can't stop it." He's just like, "Yes, I'll try." And then he's like, "Oh yeah," and then he basically throws a knife at Caleb, killing him instantly. Not killing him, but basically kills him. No. Stop saying kills him. He doesn't kill him; it knocks him out. But he thinks he kills him. And then they start shooting back and forth at each other. And now Garro is outnumbered here, but he knows they won't shoot crazy willy nilly because one of these things cracks open, everybody on the ship is dead.
Right.
So he knows that. But some idiot starts shooting anyways, and one of them cracks open, just like he thought it would, and starts seeping out into the gun deck. And Garro's like, "Oh, I gotta get out of here. I don't want to die." And he escapes, and then Grulgor is trying to chase him out. And the last thing Caleb does as he's dying is he pulls the lever to like seal the cargo bay and trap all of Grulgor and his men inside. They basically all get eaten up by this virus. So pretty cool thing there. Grulgor died from the virus. Typhon escapes. He's like, I'm getting out of here. And basically, Garro makes a decision. I'm kind of skipping over a lot here, but it's just how it goes. There's just too much to cover, just during this part. He says he has some people on board with him, but he needs to go to the Emperor what's happening. He says the best way to do that is take his eyes on this ship and basically jump through the warp and get to Terra and let him know.
Right.
Now the problem is the navigator is dead, and you need a navigator to go through the warp, or else you're just going to get torn apart. You ever seen the movie Event Horizon?
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen if you don't, or even worse, if you don't have a navigator because you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
Now, Garro says, well, it's a risk we have to take because what else are we going to do? We're going to die. On board, he has some people with him, Euphrates Keeler, Yakton Cruz, and I think Mercedes and somebody else. I can't remember their names for some reason. I don't have my notes, but so they're on board with him as well. Yakton Cruz basically helped them escape from this ship, and so I'll cover how they escaped to get to the Isstvan. Is she was in a coma. Euphrates Keeler was in a coma because she there was a part. I think it was Carcassy, or it was somebody else. I get all the Remembrancer names mixed up. There was a book on the ship called the Book of Lorgar, and one of the guys wanted to read through it. He's like, "Well, what's all this about?" Right? He reads through it. All of a sudden, he can't stop opening the pages. The elf fly, like Necronomicon, right? In the movies, the pages fly open, and a demon spawns out of it. And let me see what. I have a picture up here, kind of what it was like. Basically, this happens, right? This demon comes out of this book, and it's like, and nobody's ever seen this thing before in their life. I said, that thing is crazy. It's basically a blue horror of Tzeentch, but they don't know that. They don't have a name for it. It's called this demon beyond, and they're running away from it, and the library is catching on fire. And eventually, Euphrates Keeler picks up her. You see the picture. She picks up her little imperial thing. She holds up the demon and says, "Away with you, demon!" And it like sends out this big blast of energy, and it kills the demon. And then she falls into a coma. And Carcassy is like, "I don't know what that was. That was crazy I've ever seen in my entire life."
Right.
I don't actually. It might not have been Carcassy. It might be somebody else. But anyways, yeah, they're like, "That was so crazy." So she's in a coma, and they need to go pick her up because they need to tell someone what just happened there because that was like magic basically. So Yakton Cruz is carrying her away, and eventually Magard shows up and says, "You need to." Well, he doesn't say anything, right? But he basically tries to stop them, and he basically corners him in this hall, tries to shoot him, but then when they carry him away, actually no, Cruz wasn't there yet, but they're. I wish I could remember the guy's name who rescues her. It was another one of the Remembrancers. I can't remember his name. It's not Carcassy, but it's the other guy. I don't know if you can remember the guy's names.
Vivor's dead.
Yeah. It's one of the men. Carcassy and it's one of the other orators. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. If someone knows, I can't think of the name, but he rescues them. So it's just 3 humans against Magard. And Magard's all juiced up crazy, right? So he goes to shoot them in the hall and they're gonna die because you can't fight back against this guy. But all of a sudden he like freezes in place, and the bullets that he shot like that are just like stopped in midair, like Matrix style. And they know like what just happened. They see Euphrates Keeler hold up her hand and like stops the bullets, and then she passes out again. And they're like, "Well, we gotta get out of here then." So they kind of move around Magard to escape, and he's like trying to fight against it, and he can't. Eventually he gets out of it because it's time or whatever. I don't know how it works. I don't know what the power she has. But eventually Magard corners him again when they were trying to escape. But Yakton Cruz is there, and they're fighting, and Magard's pretty beefed up, and Yakton Cruz is struggling. He's old. Yeah. But eventually, he's still a Space Marine, so he ends up killing Magard, but it is a close one.
Right.
So, eventually, they break from so they're on the Isstvan too. Now, eventually, they fly into the warp, and a bunch of trader ships go, "Hey, Isstvan, where are you going?" Because they start to see him drift out of formation, like, "Hey, where are you going?" They're like, just kind of just moving around. Don't worry about us. Like, "Hey, get back in line." He's like, "Nah, just gonna drift a little bit." So it's all sweaty, man. Like, "If you don't move, we're gonna shoot you." He's like, all right, now jump now." And then they, because they basically have like a running start where they can jump. So they jump and they're getting shot at, and it causes some damage. So now they're heading to the warp, no navigator, and damage all over the ship. So it's real nasty. And they don't even know where Terra is either. Like navigators can basically what navigators do, they can see in their third eye a map and kind of move or navigate the map. They're called navigators. So they're there without a map, thinking they're going, "Yeah, we just go this direction for a while, then we'll get to Earth." So it's just like, man, I hope we get there. We're probably not there. We're probably gonna die, but we have to try. Euphrates is still unconscious. Cruz is there. Keeler's there, and Garro's there on the Isstvan. And so is Mercedes. I keep forgetting her. But what happens is when they're in this warp, kind of traveling through, bumping through all the different stuff, they get attacked by warp energies, just because that's what happens. And these warp energies revive the dead guys from the virus bomb that is on the Isstvan. So Grulgor and all of his men come back to life as like zombies. Also Caleb too, which makes Garro feel a certain way. And they kill the zombies. It's not too much of a problem, but Grulgor is actually giving a hard time because Grulgor's spirit, I don't know, maybe the new Nurgle was just like, "I'm really going to make you nasty." So this kind of, and that's this picture here, is what Grulgor kind of turns into.
Okay.
It's called the I think it's called the Hive. This the Destroyer Hive, I think it's what it's called. And basically, like these tubes that come out, like spray a bunch of flies out that just like eat up everything. It's real nasty stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, Grugor turns a real nightmare for them. This kind of picture the gas attack. It's because it's like peeling them away and they all dissolve, but it's the whole thing. Even when you're Space Marine, even with the armor on, it's still too much.
Right.
So eventually they put them down, they kill them all, and they eventually shoot off that section of the cargo ship. Like they shoot it into space somewhere. It is what it is. We'll lose the cargo if we have to. Eventually they make it to Terra somehow. The power of faith, right? That's basically what Keeler and some other people tell Garro was like, you just have to believe that we'll make it. And Garro says, I'm trying, but it's getting really crazy out here. So eventually they get there, and they come out near the Phalanx, which is Rogal Dorn's flagship, the biggest ship in the entire Imperium. It's the size of like I won't say planet, but almost like a moon, right? It's huge.
Okay.
And this lady Emendira Kendall. So Emendira is a Sister of Silence. I have a note here on who she is specifically. Let me go up to the top here. So she is a Sister of Silence, like I said, and Sisters of Silence are they're blanks, which I don't know if we ever covered that, but basically you have Psykers and you have blanks. Blanks are the opposite of Psykers. So where Psykers have all this powerful energy, they can use these source, like in simpler terms, in deity you have your wizards and your sorcerers and all your spellcasters. A blank is an anti-magic field. So you step in my zone, you're not doing none of that stuff, depending on how powerful the blank is. Now, some blanks are stronger than others, which means like they're so powerful, like even if tyrannies get around them, which we'll get to tyrannies a lot later, but like they use a hive mind system that's similar to the psychic thing, it can like turn off their whole thing. So it's that strong.
Okay.
Or it can be just like, I don't know, you just kind of feel weird being around them because they have like basically they have no warp presence. Because everything has a warp presence. Like you and your soul have a mirror version of your side in the warp. And blanks don't have that mirror side. So whenever you're around a blank, you just feel something weird about them. They're just a little off. So that's usually how they explain it. So Kendall is a Oblivion Knight of the Witch Seeker Squad. And what these ones do is they specifically seek out Psykers. And all Sisters of Silence never talk. They use sign language. Their own specific sign language that they have these little girls translate when they speak to you. The little girls are initiates that are going to become Sisters of Silence later, but they haven't taken the vow yet to become silent. So they basically just translate it. Yes. So they meet on this planet. They meet on the moon, and they said, all right, if what you say is true, we need to think about this, right? And Kendall wants to pick up Keeler because she's like, if what I hear about you doing those weird things is true, we need to interrogate you basically because you're doing like magic powers. That's like your business that we need to get involved in. And question.
I was going to say, so what is their goal with, I guess, collecting Psykers or seeking them out?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
No, it's mostly just like tally keeping in a way. You just want to know where Psykers and where they are in the universe. But there's a bigger reason that we'll get to later on.
Okay.
Garro then is taken to Dorn, Rogal Dorn. And Garro says, this is what just happened. Horus is betraying us. István III, the virus bombing, killing of loyalists, the whole thing. Horus has betrayed us. And he says, I don't believe, like, that's crazy talk. And I should kill you for just saying that. But he says, okay, if you don't believe me, and then Mercedes says, well, with this, and she has a little slot in her head. And she opens up, it's a little vision thing, like a little recording of her memories. And she plays it, and it can't lie because it's what she saw with her own eyes. She can't edit it. She plays it for me and shows exactly the virus bombings and all this different talk. And Rogal Dorn says, well, you got me there. And he says, okay. So he basically goes into his room alone. He stays there for a long time. And Keeler basically says, she starts crying. And Garro says, why are you crying? And she's like, I cry for him because he can't do it. Because this is the worst thing that's ever happened to him. And Dorn then sends a message to the Emperor saying something bad is happening. And they begin mobilizing the Imperial Fists, and he tells Garro that the Emperor must be warned before Horus moves. And, he's like, I'm going to send you to the Emperor with mouth the door to figure out what you need to do there while I go take care of the other stuff. Right. And that's kind of where that all ends, the whole István III thing. Where that ends to is, so István III is still going on. By the time Garro gets back. Now it's basically wrapped up. This is cleaning up the rest of it, but there's still some fighting going on there. And Horus, after he cleans up that, he has another idea. He says, well, Garro got away, and I have to assume that he's going to tell you. So there goes my secret, like having to jump on them. So what I'm going to do is Isstvan 5. I'm going to tell them, meet me here and we'll fight here. We'll see who wins. But he can also lie as well, because just because Emperor knows, and so does Dorn, nobody else really knows yet. So I think Salamanders don't know. Iron Hands definitely know. Ravenguard don't know. I guess like the people who know is like World Eaters know, Emperor's Children know, Iron Hands know, Death Guard, Sons of Horus, obviously. Who am I missing? Imperial Fists, obviously, they just know. And
Word Bearers?
Yes, definitely, they know. I think that's it, right? Those people that know. So you have Salamanders who don't know, Raven Guard, Ultramarines, goodness. I was like, I'm forgetting a big one. Ultramarines, and I can't remember the chapters for some reason. Or Legions, they're called now.
Thousand Sons.
Thousand Sons, but they probably know in a way because of Magnus. They know something's going on.
Right.
Alpha Legion, but who knows if they know? They might already know. We don't. Sure, there's another forgetting. But anyways, so some people know and some people don't know. That's just what I'm trying to say there.
Yeah. Just because they told the Emperor, that does not mean all the other legions.
It's like you said, like a big giant blast, be like, your Horus has betrayed me. Everybody go mobilize. It's like these messages take time to move across space.
Right.
And especially with warp storms, it makes it very difficult for things to get you. I might send a message to somebody being like, hey, Horus didn't betray us. That shit might get lost in the warp, and they come out 20 years later on the other side of the galaxy, being like, message for you, and that guy's been long dead because Horus has already been here. So it's the Emperor knows, which is great because he's when he needs to know the most. But everybody else, it's kind of like, I hope they find out.
Yeah.
So basically, it says Isstvan 5. So what Horus as well is he also calls more guys to come to Isstvan 5. I need help on Isstvan 5. Something bad is happening. He can play the fool a little bit.
Right.
So because he calls over Salamanders and Ravenguard to come help him. So yeah, not help him, but he calls over Salamanders. Let me clarify. Salamanders and Ravenguard are also called to Isstvan 5. Yes. I don't know. I can't remember if it's by Horus or if it's by Ferrus, but they show up here as well.
Got it. Okay.
Because but yeah, we'll cover that in another episode. But for that basically is it for this episode. Do you have any questions before we go?
Yes, I know. Wrapping up István III stuff, is Loken dead?
Don't know.
Okay.
So last thing leaves off is Loken is like fighting and a building basically collapses on him. Okay. Now, collapsing building usually would kill you, but he's Space Marine. He can.
Right. It's like maybe
we don't know what's going on with Loken right now.
Okay. Yeah, that was the main thing I was wondering because I know we kind of left off like, okay, they're about to fight, and then like,
and that's it. Yeah, it's like hard cut. Yeah, it's Torgaddon is killed. Loken was a fight. Little Horus, and then hard cut. And Angron's here now, and then
right. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yes. So that's what I was saying. Like, Isstvan III is still kind of happening in the background while this stuff with Garro's happening.
Right. Kind of unresolved points and things, but yeah. Got it.
Yeah, that's all for this episode. But next episode, we're going to talk about the Legion, Alpha Legion, a little bit because I know it can left a little bit cliffhanger again. But Alpha Legion, we need to cover what they've been doing for a little bit now because it's very important to what's going to happen next.
Right.
But yeah, if that's all, we'll wrap up there. Thanks for listening or watching or whatever. Bye.